Test, test, test. 1, 2, 3. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining. I just had a interrupted stream. I think this is technically going to start a separate stream URL. I'm double checking that currently. Yep. That is the case. No problem. I was only like 20 seconds deep anyway. So what I want to do today is make a dead simple Next.js portfolio site. So Next.js can be kind of intimidating for newcomers to programming and even to those familiar with web basics, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Even to those familiar with React, which is one thing I push for. If you're going to learn to code, I push you to web technologies and I push you to learn to React. Absolutely welcome any questions if you want to understand why that is. Basically, that's to maximize your hire rates, your likelihood of being hired. Okay, it's not trying to maximize your salary, or it's not trying to maximize certain other things. And it's not the right fit for everyone. If you're super passionate about video games, maybe web technologies are not right for you. But even in that case, I would want to talk to you and I would say, hey, probably better you land the job as a web developer, and then while you're getting a good paycheck, you can go learn how to make games and possibly switch over later, or possibly keep it as a hobby, or you can make video games on the web or with mobile technologies like React Native that leverage your learnings from when you're learning web. Okay, so there's a bunch of different branches out, and I would still encourage you to go for web technologies as your first move. So when I encourage you to go for web technologies, if you want that developer job, there's a really great thing you can do on top of those basics, and that is learn React. React is going to really make you super competitive to get a web developer job. An optional thing you can do with React is Next.js, which is a React framework. This is not really needed. This is kind of overkill for a junior, but it's just kind of technically the right thing to do in some scenarios. Specifically, a scenario like a Linktree, where you just have a single HTML page. Next.js generates static pages. Okay, that's really great for stuff like SEO. What is SEO? Search engine optimization. You come over to Google and I say food. Why is Asia Garden up here at the top? And they're rated worse than Taco Bell. Woo, sheesh. But like, these are search results, okay? If you want to rank really highly, that results from having search engine optimization. Your website needs to be optimized for search engine consumption, rating, and so forth. Behind the scenes, they're going to have keywords that are matching and things like that. One thing that really helps is when website is like plain HTML. It's very basic. It's very basic, okay? That allows the Google bot, so Google is literally touching all these websites and recording information about them. When it's a very basic HTML website, it's easy for Google and Bing and Yahoo and these other search indexers. That is something that Next.js helps with. Because if you just do the basic React, you can have something that's called client-side rendering, CSR, client-side. And this is what your basic React app is going to do. It's going to do client-side rendering. And so, for example, we have CRA, which is Create React App. This is kind of the default basic way to do React, just with Create React App. And today it uses client-side rendering. That could change in the future. Really cool things on the horizon. But for today, that's what it's going to spin up. And that is difficult for search engine scrapers, or bots, we call them. It's difficult for those to understand and traverse. So that's one of many reasons. There's many other reasons, and I don't want to waste too much time on the reasons. I just want to get to the coding. But that's one of many reasons that you would want to do Next.js. Let me pull up my chat, say, hey, y'all. We got people tuning in. Feel free to send me a question, and I can pivot to a topic of your interest. We see some people watching on Facebook and Twitch. Pretty cool. If you're watching on Facebook or LinkedIn, I might not get your chat messages. I had some trouble with that previously. But if you're on Twitch or YouTube, I should get your chat messages in the chat thing that I'm watching on my left. So let's dive in. So we're going to make this basic portfolio site. If you're a beginner, this is something you're going to be able to do. Follow my TikTok. I'm giving out tips all the time. One of my tips was, here are 5 great projects for a beginner. A resume. Take your resume and turn it into a web page, right? Like a digital version of your resume. A blog. Not only is like it pretty simple, like lots of examples of blogs that you can do. It's understandable. Your employer, everyone knows what a blog is. Your employer is going to know what a blog is. That's an advantage when you're putting it on your portfolio, and you get to tell your story. That's the really cool part about a blog. As you're learning how you're coding and your different experiences, like do this, not that kind of thing, you can write blog articles, and that can actually become valuable to somebody else who's learning. It may not be valuable to someone like me who's kind of like expert level, but sometimes it is. You may or may not be surprised that as an expert, sometimes I see blog articles from a newbie and I go, whoa, that actually helped. So that can help someone like me. How much more can that help someone that's literally right there alongside you trying to learn with you? So don't say, I've seen this happen. Some of the people I talk to, they'll go, man, I'm new at coding. Nobody wants to read what I have to say. That's not the case. There's a huge audience for people who are learning to code, not only those who are learning to code alongside you, but people who want to help teach, people who are looking for talent, like who are the come-ups right now, like who, so there are a lot of eyes on like young developers early in their career. Okay, so a blog is a great project. Basically, turn your resume into a web page, great project. Do a blog, great project. Another is a portfolio site. Well, what are you going to put on your portfolio? Well, you can put the first 2 things. If you got 2 projects to refer to, that's enough. So now you got 3 projects, and they're interrelated, right? And you can blog about making the portfolio site. And then you can point to the blog with your portfolio site. So they can actually relate to each other, and you can start to build an online presence of connected projects and a recognizable brand. It's actually really cool. Those are the 3. A 4th one, this is kind of unrelated, but it's a fun one that I think can be kind of interesting. For junior developers, it's unusual, and it's actually not that hard. But if you tell somebody, hey, this was the first thing I did, this is in my portfolio, they're going to go, ooh, that's cool, because they know what it means, but it's also unusual for a junior to do that. And that's a Twitter bot. So making a Twitter bot is not that hard, and it could do something simple like collect tweets that do a certain variety of hashtags, right? Your Twitter bot doesn't have to be complicated, but if you tell somebody you made a Twitter bot, that's like a cool thing in your portfolio. It's kind of unusual. Okay, and the last one is more complicated. It's harder, but this is like your rock star project, and that, hilariously, it doesn't sound very impressive. It's a bug tracker, which is basically project management software. The one project guaranteed to get developer job. This is not original with me. It comes from Coder Foundry. And this guy, he's on the money. And so you can go watch his video, subscribe to his channel. It's not just the guy, although he's the founder, but they're actually a whole bootcamp organization called Coder Foundry. This is the guy. 2019, he gave the point, and I said, wow, that's like the best project idea I've ever heard. And basically, again, it comes back to employers know what you're talking about. It's actually useful. You can actually do stuff with it. More advantages in this case with the bug tracker. One advantage would be it's full stack, right? So today I'm going to do the Linktree thing. It's not full stack. So it's demonstrating mastery of additional skills. That's another one with the bug tracker. He goes through quite a bit. I'll leave it over to him. You can see the link in front of you. So those are the 5 projects that I would recommend if someone's like, oh, that's the guy. Hey, yeah. That's the guy. Just like that's the guy, man. So those are like the 5 projects that I would recommend if someone's like, John, I'm new to coding and I feel like I got the basics. It's time for me to start coding. What projects? I would say turn your resume into an HTML page, do a blog, do a portfolio site, do the Twitter bot optionally. Not so hot on that one, but it is interesting. And then this bug tracker is really cool. Scoob Walk on Twitter says, Hey, that's the guy. I'm trying not to read anything into that question. And then how's it going? It's going great. Thank you so much for asking. We're going to make, I'm not sure if you heard me earlier, we're going to make a basic link tree in Next.js. So here we go. Let's go get a Next.js starter. And I'm going to kick this off by making a GitHub repository. So you should have a GitHub account. I'll go new repository. This is going to be basic Next.js link tree. Kind of a Linktree clone-ish. That's not a sexy description. Let's do this again. Basic Next.js portfolio. Basic portfolio site in Next.js similar to Linktree. Am I making a YouTube video? Yeah. So this is streaming. We're streaming over to Twitch and YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. And the goal, and whenever the stream is done, it will be like saved on Twitch and it'll also be saved on YouTube. And one of the goals of this is like I can just point people like, hey, I heard you like projects. And here's my 5. And here's an actual demo of doing a basic version of the portfolio site. Going to open source this for sure. So Next.js is built on top of Node. Be a public repository, create it. Cool. So here it is. Y'all should all be able to access this right now. It's just got like the basic README in there. So what we want to do is create Next app. There are a bunch of ways to start a Next application, but the basic way is create Next app. Okay, and I do want TypeScript, so I'm going to pass the TypeScript flag. Okay. So I'll go over to VS Code. You're going to need to have Node installed. So you can see I have Node 16. And you're going to want to have VS Code installed. I'm currently on Windows. I think it's actually a bit easier to code on a Mac, but Windows is the gaming PC, so rock that one. So I have a workspace folder. I have like a separate drive. This is my D drive where I keep my games and my code projects because it gets to be like space intensive. You can, if you just have the OneDrive, you can just put it under your user folder. That's pretty common. And so you would make a folder called workspace under your user folder. So whenever we're developing, we have like a bunch of our code in a certain area. We usually call that our workspace folder. When I was really starting, I had like script files all over the desktop, and that's just not a good practice. You might want camera on the right side of screen. Yeah, the like this office setup is like not really optimal, is it? We actually just had someone working on the water heater. Posture check reminder. What is Next.js? You know what? That's a great question. So Next.js is a framework on top of, in OBS. What do you mean? Maybe you can explain that one to me. Like an additional camera in OBS. I think I'm not understanding that point. So posture check asks, what is Next.js? We'll just visit their about page real quick. Oh, it's about this tutorial. I want about Next.js. Let's Google it. The #1 developer skill is Googling. Next.js is an open source development framework built on top of Node.js, enabling React-based applications. That's right. That's right. So basically it's like this. Basic web technologies. HTML. Oh, this is terrible. There's 3. HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Okay. Let's see if I can do this. Your camera was covering. Oh, yeah. Thank you. No, that's really helpful. So my face is over the top of whatever command I was running. Okay, I'll move my face in a minute. Hey, posture check. Let me know if you want me to go over HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. I'm going to skip over that right now, but I'll dive into it if y'all don't know what that means. Basically, on top of JavaScript, there's something called React. It's like a level on top of JavaScript. It actually makes working with JavaScript kind of easier, not harder, unless you use it wrong. And then Next.js is on top of React. So even though it's kind of complicated to understand which pieces fit, once you understand which pieces fit, the whole point is to make things easier, not harder. Work smarter, not harder, right? And so Next.js is going to help us build a web page, bottom line. We're trying to build like one of these kind of guys. You know React? Okay, dope. Yeah, so Next.js is a React framework. That's it. All right, cool. So I think I have it on my clipboard here. npx create. Now I'll move my face. Thank you so much. I'll be in the top left. Thank you so much to the audience for telling me my face was in the way. So first thing I want to do is clone down this new repository. You can see this, right? Yeah, now you can see it. So I'm going to git clone it. Now that I've cloned it, I'm going to grab the npx create react app with TypeScript command. So ls, make sure that I can cd into the thing I just cloned. What I just cloned is called basic next portfolio. So here I am, and I'm just going to control V, control C, control V. Developer's favorite thing to do. Create next app. I think I'm supposed to give it a name. Where do I give my app a name? I guess somewhere else. Let's hit enter and see what happens. See if it breaks. Does Next.js replace Express? Kind of it can, but also not really. I think Next.js uses Express behind the scenes. Let's see. You do not need to use Express. Oh, it might use Koa. Next already has its own built-in server. Does Next.js use Koa? What server does Next.js use? So it's just requiring HTTP. App prepare app is a next. So it's saying it's like a next server, but I thought that I looked into the source code and it was like Express or Koa. There is a middleware, so you can use Express middlewares if you want to. So like Next has its own middleware that allows you to use Express middlewares. See, doesn't this just kind of like look like Express? So Next has, you can write your endpoints in Next. It's a full stack framework. You can write your endpoints in Next, and I'm not 100% sure if it's using Koa or Express behind the scenes, but you can middleware to either of them if you want to. So in a lot of cases, yes, you can replace Express. I've also had like a work project where we had an existing Express server, and so you can still use that if you want to. It's not like there's going to be a conflict. Okay, cool. Close some of these out. Got this all installed. What is your project name? We're going to call this Basic Next.js Portfolio. I'm super thirsty. Look at that. Retweeted. I do also game sometimes. I think like my Twitch thing gets screwed up. It gets confused if I'm doing coding or games because I kind of do both. Hey, let me know. What's more interesting to you? Do you want to learn to code? Or do you want to watch me play games? Because I'm down for either. But I think coding's pretty cool. Let's see, today. Next.js, please. Rock on. Rock on. So today is Thursday. So yeah, I'll definitely do one more coding stream before the end of the weekend. Just kind of small talking while this installs. This is called binary search. So this is one other thing I could do. So when I'm coding, I can do Next, like building applications. I love doing that. I can also do like algorithm and like coding interview stuff. What are y'all's thoughts there? Binary search is more like algorithm kind of stuff, as well as Google Kickstart, kind of algorithm related. Oh, you know what? Let me give a shout out to, you missed the question? Yeah, no problem. Oh, it finished installing. So the question was, do y'all like working on applications? Not do y'all like working on. Do y'all like me working on, or like watching me work on applications, or like practicing algorithm interviews and like leak code and stuff like that? So I could do either one. Okay, so we got this installed. So cd into basic Next.js portfolio, and I think the first thing I need to do is install npmi. Like both. That's awesome. It installed 500 packages in 1 second. Are you serial? Whoa, dude, are you Rice Krispie? Dude, you're cereal right now. Going to add my folder to the workspace. Let's see. Add folder to workspace. I want to listen to some music so bad. I like listening to music while I code, but I don't want to get DMCA'd. The new one is called Basic Next.js Portfolio. I think I'm going to risk it for the biscuit, though. You don't see many streamers open sourcing their code. Isn't that sad? That's 100% right. Code Wars for warm-up. Respect, respect. It's all about the open source for me. And I push forward at work, too. Wherever I'm working. Okay, cool. You know, you don't want to annoy people, but you can always ask. Basic Next.js portfolio. We did the install. So npm start is the next step. Could not find production build. Okay, I didn't actually build it, did I? Next build. Yeah, I don't have Next globally installed. So I can do npx next build. npx is an npm command. npm is the package manager. Here's node package manager. They hold tons of the libraries here, right? Almost all the libraries here. npx is a just-in-time installer for npm. So it basically works like an executable. You can run any command, and if you don't have the packages to run the command, it will like temporarily install them and use them, and then I don't think they save to your disk though. I think it just kind of runs it and then goes away. So I npx next build, and it did a static build, which is what I want to do. That's the default setting for Next. So now I'm going to try an npm start. Ready to go. Localhost 3000. So I'm holding the control key and clicking my VS Code text. Notice my Chrome kind of turned orangish. It's because it wants to pop up to the front, but Windows isn't letting it. But it's still giving me the notification like, hey, something happened over here. Click on me. So I click on it, and VS Code opened localhost 3000. So that's how I got here. So it's almost done, right? It's like almost done out of the box. We're just going to tweak this guy. So instead of welcome to Next.js, here I'm going to specify files to include basic next, what did I call it? Basic Next.js portfolio. Would you use Next.js to build a REST API? Yeah, I would. I would do that if I was trying to do a serverless application. So it doesn't always, it's not for every use case, but it's really great for serverless basically. So we're going to change the title here, and this is going to be called Portfolio. I'm going to call it My Portfolio. Description, this is related to the search engine optimization generated by Create Next app. So this is called metadata. It's what the search engine will see about you, but the user doesn't actually see this. So I don't want the search engine to know it was generated by Create Next app. What I want the search engine to know is that this is a portfolio of work by I don't want this to be about me necessarily, because other developers are going to use this. So I want this to be a portfolio of software developer work. Software developer work. I mean, I guess that works. Whatever. So it's not going to say welcome to Next.js. Here it will say my name. Please move your camera to the other side of the screen. Okay. I moved it up, but I should move it to the right. That's better, right? I think so. Cool. So here I am going to put my name. I think it's pretty easy for people to change the name here, but this is just going to say programming portfolio. I'm not even going to say programming. I'm going to say portfolio for John Vandeveer. So I'm going to need to rebuild it before we see any of that reflected. It's just doing a static serve right now, which is really not awesome for development. So I'm going to kill that server. I think npm run dev is how I get a kind of a quick refresh. Npm run dev. So this is what you'll want to use while you're developing. It's using Webpack 5 behind the scenes. That's awesome. Get started by editing. I can take that piece out. What does Linktree say there? Is there a byline? Does Linktree have a byline? No, it's just like a picture. So I could do a picture. Generic developer picture. Cartoon. I want the cartoonized picture if I can. Yeah. I think that works. I need like open source image. Open source images. Unsplash is great. Software. Cool. I think this works. So here we're going to put this in Workspace, GitHub, Next, Basic, Next.js Portfolio, Pages, Public Styles. This would be public, and this is going to be, oh, you know what? I can put it in Pages. Pages index, yeah. Pages, this will be called hero.png. Hero.png works for me. Okay, so now you can see this has rebuilt portfolio for John Vanderveer. I want a portfolio as the byline. A portfolio. So it's just going to say John Vanderveer. John Vanderveer, a portfolio. I think that's simpler, yeah? And then we're going to add the hero up here. So this will be image source equals hero. And we will import that. Import, ooh. Right, Next has a really cool image, so we're going to do that one. Image elements must have an alt prop with meaningful text or an empty string for decorative images. I'm going to give it an empty string. We're going to say the hero is a decorative image. Import hero from dot slash I think it's just hero.png, isn't it? Okay, it showed up. Yeah, I wonder why that import assistance wasn't working. Here I can Control-Shift-P, TSI sort imports. Sorts my imports for me. That's a VS Code plugin. This is all looking good to me. I want to style this picture a bit. So let's say width. I want to be, or this would be a max width, would be 20 rem. You okay? Max width is not working, huh? And can y'all see? Nope. Y'all cannot see the CSS anyway. Moving my head again. So messing with this. Oh, there's max width. That's why. Max width. So I'm going to edit this one to be like 20 rem. That doesn't seem to be working at all. Let's do 100 pixels. Let's do 10 pixels. That's really outrageous. This is more for testing. I don't actually want it to be 10 pixels wide, right? Okay, there we go. It's the min width. It's the min width that's popping. So what I'd really like is like a 20 rem. Yeah. And then unconstrain the height. Boom, 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 boom. $10? Okay, I'll try to get done. It might be a bit longer than me. A bit longer for me. So that's about the size of the picture I was going for, yeah. Okay, so let's do on this image. I don't know if I can just set width like this or if I need to use style. Try 20 rem right there. Yeah, like didn't work, right? Rendered size 20, so it translated it into 20 pixels somehow. Sheesh. So we're going to comment that. I'm going to try style. Style doesn't work. We can go pixels, but I usually like round. So let's say width 20 rem. Style is not assignable to this element. Style is not assignable to this element. Okay, so Next doesn't want me to do it that way. That's fine. You can see here I'm using capital I image. That's the Next image component. This is not the basic HTML image. So Next is expecting that I can do width, but I need to set a number here. So let me do maybe 320. I think that would be roughly 20 rem on a normal size screen. So now I just want to unconstrain the height. Let's see. Next image resize. So specify the width and the height. That's the whole thing. So I just specify my own height. Okay. What is the aspect ratio here? 320 by 625. And what if I don't say 320? So if I don't say 320, it's 907 by 625. 907, not a very nice number. Let's round it to 910. 907, or 910 over 5, it's 182. 625 over 5. Okay, so we'll do 2/5, so 364 by 250. Yeah, 364 width, 250 height. Okay. I usually keep my keys in alphabetical order. It's like definitely not required at all, right? So I think that looks pretty good. What do you think? I think that looks pretty good. John Vanderveer, portfolio. These 4 things, frankly, you could leave them. This is all up to your opinion. You could just leave them if you want and have that. It's not quite a link tree. I'm going to make it more like a link tree because some of these, because I don't want it to look just like the default boilerplate, basically. So I'm going to look for that character. What character is that? Learn. It says learn. This character right here, I'm getting rid of all of those. Cool. And then they are 1, 2, 3, 4. They're in a grid. It's actually cool to use CSS grid. So I'm going to maintain grid. It's just kind of a flex. You're like, hey, I know grid. Actually, I like that vertical alignment there more. Even though it says grid, it's not using grid. It's using flex. So that's terrible. Grid. Here's styles.grid. I'm going to go ahead and check in a bunch of this. We're going to say feet init next. What was it called? Next. Create next app. Create next app. Do you use Vercel for hosting? I do. I'm not using that for this app. For this app, we're going to do GitHub Pages. But in general, I'm a huge, huge fan of Vercel. I have my other project, Futurecaster. Where's that? So this is on Vercel. Big fan of Vercel. And like Rockstar Boy, I'm using Vercel. Okay. Close these. Let's get some vertical alignment on here. I also think the top margin is too much. I think we can get away with one rem there. So I'll go over to my CSS file. Styles. Oh, it's in its separate styles folder. I don't like that one bit. Don't like that one bit. So here is 3 rem. We'll change that to 1 rem. The max width is 800 pixels. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. And flex wrap. I'm going to get rid of this, and then I'm going to change it into a column. So flex, what is that? Flex display, is it? Flex direction column. Yep, so we're going to make that flex direction column. A, B, C, D, E, flex direction column. I would pull request them, and they would just look at me like I'm crazy to just be like, can we alphabetically order these rules? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M. Cool. All right, there's grid with alphabetical ordering. So now we're looking more like a link tree, right? But oh, what happened at the top of my site's looking goofy now. I'm going to go to the main class here and put it on that. No, it's like if I add a rem, so something funky is going on. Did you see that? I can't scroll up. There's like a max height on the body here. Let's Control Z. You know what? It might be this max width. Let's comment that max width. Min height. Here's min height. Yep, there's the height. That was screwing us up. Yikes, don't specify the height. Oh, yikes. So here's container. Container is doing it. It's that height 100 VH. Get that out of here. I want it to be flexible. I'll keep a min height 100 VH. I'm fine with that. So now I have my margin up top like I like. Good. Even this gap is still a little bit too big for my liking. I'm going to just knock it out. What do you think? Let me know. I'm not a stylist, right? Let me know if you disagree with my style choices here. I'm going to just knock out that rim to 0. And this is part of what makes it your portfolio site, right? You have different style choices. You could say why am I getting rid of this margin? There's like visual aesthetic reasons, but there's also functional reasons. Look at all this wasted real estate, you know? So if I'm making a link tree thing, I want to get my links kind of on the screen there. It's true, I did shoot myself in the foot by making it a column, didn't I? But that's what Linktree does. I want to get rid of this top and bottom margin. Margin 0. Cool. Home description. Cool, so we locked in that change. You can see I'm kind of like prototyping these changes with DevTools on the right, and then I lock them in and save them, and then I refresh the screen to make sure they stick. So Next.js uses something called fast refresh, but it doesn't reset your CSS rules that you've manually set in DevTools. Padding, I like the padding. Text left, I like that. It's easier to read. This is like a design theory thing. It's easier to read with the left aligned text. So that's really good. It's the width that I'm not sure about. Here we go. Yeah, see, I like that. I like those long ones. Wow, spam F in the chat if you like those long ones. Oh, geez, I'm going to get fired. Okay, great. So this looks good. Now, the last tweak I'm going to do is I'm going to change the color scheme, and I'm going to get rid of this powered by Vercel, and then we're going to be done. See, it's not that hard. It's not that hard. Oh. Control-Shift-F. Should I get rid of the footer, or should I put something here? I can say powered by developers like you. Powered by developers like you. That's empowering, isn't it? It's all about the empowerment, you dig? Powered by developers like you. Cool, I'm gonna leave that. Great, great, great. Get rid of this href. We're gonna make this into a span. I don't think I actually need span because footer is it already has a footer tag. So I think I can just do that. Powered by developers like you. Works for me. So this background, I want it to be off and off-white. Alice blue. I like it. That was easy. Let's see. I actually want it to be a bit greener. Yeah, there we go. Pages, styles. So we're going for the container. On the container, we're going to set background. I like that color. What do you think? See, you can change it to your own. Make it like a dark red and black, like Metallica type thing. So you see I saved it, but it's bluish here. It's not green. So I'm going to F5. Bam, it's green. Because when I saved it, the Vercel fast refresh, Next.js fast refresh, did not rewrite the background color that I had manually set. Okay, cool. So I don't like these hovering in blue, and I don't like the transparency. Let's see if I make these background white. It doesn't quite pop, so an alternative would be to, let's see. We do background white, border, 1 pix, solid black. Just let that black make it pop. I think that works. And then we'll change the hover, and then that should be good. I still don't quite like the white, so we're going to do a very ever so slightly off-white, heading towards a tannish kind of thing. That's like, yeah. I think that pops a little more and it's less boring. Crap, I just lost it. Come back. It's like a tannish kind of thing, right? But it wasn't quite that. Wasn't quite that tan. I think that looks good. FFFB F6. FFFB F6. Cool. So this is the home card component. So here's card, background. Oh, I lost off my clipboard. What was it? FFF FB6? I'm not sure that's right. FFF something B6. Ew, look at that. FFF BF6. Okay. BF6. Cool. And then the border, one pix solid black. Great. That is overridden. It's overridden by this guy. Boom. I'm also going to alter the border radius to, I don't like 0. We're going to go 3 pix. Again, the point is to make it not look like the starter. That's the intent there. You see how I didn't know that was already written? If they were alphabetical, it would be more obvious. Cool. Now, I think the color scheme is getting too wonky. Nah, I think it's all right. We've basically got 2 or 3 colors. That's fine. So I don't want this blue. So the blue can be a darker of the mint. Oh, by the way, this deploy card got really wide. So I'll set a max width, 10 rem. Boom. So we'll go 34, max width 34 rem. That is again on the card. And let's see, for me, I'm going to have my GitHub. So this will be GitHub, LinkedIn. So I'll do my blog, my GitHub, and my LinkedIn. Everyone should have these 3. So everyone should have 3 cards at least. So there's blog, GitHub, LinkedIn. And frankly, blog can go at the end. So in my case, it's going to be afterecon.com. Read my miscellaneous ramblings and learnings. LinkedIn. Connect with me. Okay. Connect with me professionally and learn about my background. Let's see, GitHub. View my open, experience my passion for open source. I think that sounds cool. So now they're all different sizes. So let's give them a minimum as well as a maximum. So they got this, let's just do width. want to fill this card out a little bit more. Open source and technology. Filler words, filler words. Well, that didn't help at all because it just wrapped. Just wrapped. I think I'm going to do that. Just drop the width down to 32. Let me do this off-white color. No, I think this is looking good. Do a border radius on this. Let's do like a 20% border radius on that, yeah. That is the, what is this called? It's just the image itself. Next.js image border radius. Class name is allowed for the image component. Oh, they put it in a box? So if a box works, then a div should work. Let's see. Huh. Nth child important. This is getting kind of hacky. Accessing the first internal wrapping div of the image element. Div class. Okay, so style the child instead of styling this div directly. That worked. What is this? Okay, I'll give it a class name. Hero. Class name is hero-image. So let's see if that worked. Yep. So it's got the class hero-image. Cool. Go to CSS. File. and it doesn't stick. All right, forget about it. We'll leave it with the rough edges. I don't like that. I don't like that. Okay. Last thing is when I hover on these, I don't want it to be blue. So where's my green color? I'm going to take this and basically make it a shade of that. Oh, what is that? Title A? Title A is not a thing anymore. Okay, so that was wrong. Here's the blue. And let me make sure this blue isn't used anywhere else. Okay, it's not, so there we go. Ooh, that's not legible. It's not dark enough, so let's darken it. Darker. Darker. Now it's legible, but it's just kind of meh. See if I can get away with this. This might be too bright. I think it kind of works. I'll do a little bit darker. I'm just like nitpicking now. Yeah, this is good enough. Let's see if I can lighten that mint at all. It's already pretty light, isn't it? I didn't notice a difference. Did I not hit Control S, or is it just like such a small difference? I think that's fine. I actually hate the green hovering, to be honest with you. Maybe it'll pop more if I turn the background white. Oh no, it just looks terrible. Let's do this. Invert the colors so it's white on hover. I think that's much better. I'm gonna leave the border out of it though. And let's use the off-white for that text. So we're staying in a color scheme. How about dashed? No one ever does dashed. Or dotted. Oh, that's so terrible. Maybe that's why no one ever does it. I kind of like that. Go with the flat style where the border is the same as the background. Okay, cool. So this is, and then click it. It still goes to docs, so we need to still actually update the link. So the GitHub would be, here's my GitHub. And I want it to open in a new tab. So target blank to open in a new tab. Do that for all these anchors. Got after econ, and the other would be my LinkedIn. Hey, if you've made it this far in the stream, thanks for joining, and feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn if you made it this far in the stream. GitHub, LinkedIn. And the blog. I'm going to use that off-white instead of whatever color this is. Oh, the off-tan, actually. Maybe I'll just make it black. Powered by developers like you. Is there something like, oh, it doesn't go all the way, does it? What is that? 0.5 rem padding? That's weird. I guess it's cool. That's fine. The only thing I don't like about this is this image. I want it to be like a more circular. Okay, we're gonna leave it. So yeah, so this is the basic portfolio link tree. We can do npm next build. We'll build that. This will be update links and page style. npm start, so this will show us the statically generated one, and we're going to see how to put it on GitHub Pages, and then we'll be done. So for GitHub Pages, I go here, check it out here. There's actually an npm package, GitHub Pages Next.js. He wants to use Travis. No, thank you. Too much work. I think I can just build it. Yeah. GH pages. Okay, I'll follow that if I need to. I think basically I can just check in my build folder. Yeah, so I'll have GitHub Pages branch. That's fine. Close these. Source. So I've already pushed my main branch. That's taking too long, so I'll do a new terminal. So git branch. You can see I'm currently on main. I'm going to git branch. I'm going to git. Ooh, this is being so slow, huh? Branch GH pages. Okay. Now I'm going to git checkout GH pages. Now I'm going to npx next build. So it's going to build, and then in the GH pages branch only, I will remove the build files from git ignore. So it will actually upload the build files. Basic next git ignore build. And let me see, do I have an out folder or only build? Oh, I only have a next folder. So here I have all of these things. What about static? I wonder if that's actually going to work. I'm not sure. Let's do extensions static server. Static server. I forgot which one of those. I think static server will just serve it, but I forgot how to do it. So let me go to my git ignore and take out the next folder. Now I'll say there's so many changes. I'm hoping that I only need the next static. Page CSS app 404 hello. Why does it say API hello? That's not a thing. Next must also be described in my other git ignore. Yeah. So next is repeated twice. There's the changes. Okay. So now the index HTML is what I'm looking for. Here it is. This is the built index HTML. And this is the one that I want to statically serve. Static serve. I might need to restart my VS Code. Let's see. ESLint, Python, Prisma. None of these are what I want. I want to serve. There used to be like a button right there. Select language mode. Start static. Okay, you have to pick the folder, I guess, not the file. Okay, server. Maybe I pick static. Next, server. I think this is not going to work, but okay. Well, let's do it. Start static server. So where did it go? Static. I ran npx next build. What folder should my static files be in? Yeah, I think in the static folder, but I'm seeing the same problem basically. Port 1337. All right, let's go see. Localhost 1337. It's not working. Okay. npx next export. Okay. I think I have to do the same. Let me uninstall this static server. It's not working like I thought. Reload required. I'll close it. So an hour to make the changes and then half an hour to deploy them. It sounds about right. Usually GitHub Pages is much quicker than that. npx next export. image in Next.js. Okay, cool. Hey, big shout out to Scoobwalk who's hooking us up. So React strict mode. This could be a problem. Whoa, it's very different than the other config I had, I guess. Use next start to run a server, which includes use any provider. Configure a third-party loader. I think that's what I need to do. Parsing error, cannot find next Babel. You need that images object. Makes sense to me. What does React strict mode do? Maybe I can still keep that. So that seems to work. Does it work now that I have strict mode? Okay, it seems to still work, so I think I'm going to keep them both. Okay, so files written to portfolio/out. So let's go git ignore. I have two git ignores. I'm going to collapse them. Thank you for getting me motivated to make a Next app. Hey, yo. It's all love, and thank you for helping out with the stream. Are you on the East Coast or the West Coast? Are you even in the U.S.? Where are you at, man? Or lady? Scoobwalk? Is, you know, you don't need to reveal your gender if you don't want to. But where are you at, though? So here's out, so we're gonna comment out. And this is, yeah, babe, that's what I'm expecting. In LA. Hey, I just visited LA for the first time in my life last month, no lie. So my wife turned 30. So we went to Vegas, but we swung by LA. We went to Santa Monica. But I live in the DC area, Washington, DC. And I'm originally from Texas, like Austin area. So this is going to be feet. This is more like a chore. Deploy build. Or npx next export. That's what I'm going to say that is. And I'm not going to actually use GH Pages. I know that's normal, but I don't want to confuse. Grew up in DC, cool. I don't want to confuse anybody who's new to coding by hiding it in the GH Pages branch so they can't see it. So I'm going to use main. So we're going to get merge GH Pages, git push. So all the changes that we just did, and we put it on the GH Pages branch. Now I just put it on the main branch. So here, this should be able to use, yeah, see, they're expecting GH Pages, but now I switched over to main. It's not here. It shouldn't be root. Okay, so darn. They want me to use main or root. I can't use my out folder. So I do need to use GH Pages. Okay, let's go back. It'll be root of GH Pages. We got to move it around. Okay, so basically I need to take that out folder and bring it to root. Yeah, there are a lot of tech companies in Rockville and Dulles. Yep, for sure. So I'm going to take this out folder and bring it to root. And I'm going to rename it docs. Just because GH Pages lets me do that, and that will minimize the number of changes that I have to do. So out folder to docs, and that's a chore. What is a chore? A chore is a commit that doesn't impact the end user. It's primarily technical. It primarily has to do with DevOps. That is like build and deploy. It's like chores, we call them. Okay. Basic Next portfolio is similar to Linktree. This site is open port. Yo, what? It does take a few minutes to propagate, doesn't it? All right, well, I'm not seeing it, but that's where it should be. Docs. Docs should be root. So do I have an index here? I do. Let me even go on my own computer. Go into my own folder. So here is basic, next portfolio, docs. I'm just going to grab this index and drop it. So there it is. So the style is broken, but that's okay because that's just because I did that drag and drop from my own computer. At least I should see this on GitHub Pages. It's making me like not want to use the docs folder because like this kind of looks like this site is open source. Improve this page. Looks like a docs thing to do. Yeah, I'm gonna swerve docs. Okay. So we're swerving docs. We're gonna use root. So what I need to do now is basically just like destroy a bunch of files, which I was trying to avoid. So this is I need to destroy this whole folder. Boom. I guess I don't need to. If I can make it somehow hidden. All right, we're going to delete all these because the hidden thing is not obvious to me. And then these, we're going to pull up into root. So now docs is empty, so I can drop the folder. Cool, so this is like a bunch of changes, but it's basically just a chore docs to root. If I get status unable to read working directory, okay, that's why it's taking so long. So I'll git stage everything. This is just Windows being slow. Oi. It's like dealing with node modules. Yo. Git reset -- hard. So Windows is being super slow because I deleted the git ignore file and now it's trying to process everything. So here I'm making the git ignore file and I tried to reset it and that wasn't working, so I have to go grab the git ignore file content, go to the raw, grab it. Cool, so now that was a lot faster now. I'm gonna kill VS Code because I think VS Code was hanging. Because it was still trying to process without the git ignore, which is like way too much. ls git status. Yep. Cool. So now Git can actually process the changes. So yeah, 34 files, that seems about right. Docs to root. Before I push it, one last check that they that this is not working already. It's not, right? Yeah. And push it. Cool, so I'll give that about 30 seconds. Cool, so push is done. We can double check that my branch GH pages looks as expected. So you can see this is kind of confusing to newcomers because my GH page root looks totally different than my main root. But really what we did, yeah, and you'd have to like see the video to see what we did. So this is more confusing for newcomers. There's a package called gh-pages that you can use. It's made to go with Create React App. And it makes GitHub Pages super easy for Create React App, but I guess it doesn't work super easily for Next, which is sad. So yeah, I guess in the future, hey, lesson learned, if I want GitHub Pages, let's use Create React App. And then as Scoobwalk suggested, Vercel is the smooth and easy way to do it with Next. There's like a one-click deployment. here's Vercel. Here's how you spell it if you're curious, vercel.com. Make a new project. They have templates. You don't have to like code everything from scratch. So it's kind of like create Next app in that sense. It'll give you like a starter and you can customize it from there. So this is, it's like halfway working. So we got that index file. So failed to load this stuff. So next static CSS. So why did it not load? Next static CSS. Here it is. Are the hashes right? 120f2. 120f2. So the hashes are right. So the file should be there. This is basic Next portfolio. Ah, that's the reason. It needs the needs to be /basic Next portfolio. So if I take this and put it here, bam, this could not be found. Vanderveer GitHub IO basic Next portfolio. Yeah, why can that not be found? Index.html. So this is found. Index.html. Yeah, base URL for sure, for sure, for sure. This is basic Next. Because I already nuked all that stuff. Sheesh. That stinks. Okay, so let's... basic Next portfolio is right here, but it's basically empty. Yeah. Somebody check out main. Go to the config. Let's do base URL. Let's do like Futurecaster. What did I do over there? None of these are having base URL. Base path maybe? Yeah, okay. Base path. So we could export to docs. Yeah, I think I'm going to try that. Module.exports base path docs. So now I should be able to export again. Oh, no worries. Yeah, no need to be sorry about that. I didn't know, you didn't know, we live and learn. That's what Google's for. Why is next config not registering a change though? There it is. It's just some kind of delay. npx next export. Let's try it again. Need to install the following packages. Is that okay? Sure. So we got to reinstall it because I like nuked it. Could not find a production build. Okay, so let's build it first and then export it. Could not find a pages directory. What? Create one under the project root. Where are we at? Oh, okay. I need to execute it from here. Everyone, thank you for your patience. Yeah, I was trying to do this in an hour. We're going on, what, an hour 45? Welcome to software development. An error occurred. Invalid URL. What's the deal here? Make sure to move any non-pages out of the pages folder. Make sure your component handles fallback. Make sure you're not trying to export pages that have server-side rendering enabled. Hey Scoob, I'm going to try and give it another 10 minutes. But yeah, hey, glad to see you thought it was productive. GitHub does not give you I don't think so. I don't think they give you a custom host name. You get the GitHub host. You get the GitHub host, github.io every time. But you get a, like, your repository specific suffix right there, path name. Oh, when using next image, you need to add the base path in front of source. Okay, okay. So let's go to this index. Oh, that makes it more complicated because I'm using the import way. npm next dev, or is it just npm run dev? Let's check this again. What is it complaining about? Is it the image? Basic next portfolio. Ooh, none of this is working, huh? Why? Nuke it from orbit? Yikes. So let's get rid of base path. Oh, base path docs over there. Yeah. It's on the index image loader. Hero. Yeah, so it's coming from the image. Boo, I want to be able to use it. So the easy thing to do is just comment the image. I think I'm going to take the easy way out today because I'm tired. But see if I could. I'm going to copy hero PNG. Honestly, I should probably move it. But I'm going to copy it and paste it in public. And then here we're going to look at docs hero.png. This error happened. Wow, and let's not import it like that. So docs hero PNG. It's mad about. Yeah, I don't know why they're so salty about this image. Yo, chill. It's just a basic image. Okay. So I'm going to comment the image. That makes me feel really bad. But at least we got basically everything works. To do like app won't build and export with this image. And next.config.js as is. So we'll save that for another day. So I think it looks like a lot lamer, but hey, it's still a thing. It's still a thing. So let's keep it. Okay, cool. And what branch am I on? See you, Scoobwalk. Thanks for checking in. Here I'm going to change the base path to use basic Next.js portfolio. Okay. And npm next npx next build. Chore build fix by commenting image. Okay, now let's npx export. So that gave us an out folder, eh? Out. Cool. So this will be chore npx next out export. And I'm pushing it to main, but I'm doing that on purpose because if I can avoid it, I'm going to avoid the Pages branch. Okay, so we push it to main. Now we're here, we're on main, 13 seconds export, done. Close these cats, go over to, why do we call them cats, by the way? That's confusing, right? Just like stuff is cats. Okay, so now we're on main. Boom, save it. Cool cats. Why is it not cool dogs? Cats and dogs, I guess they're just common animals. Maybe that's how that got started. Okay, so where's the CSS reference? Where's the CSS reference? Here it is. It did not attach the base path. When it built it, it did not attach the base path. Here's the base path. Yo, dog, where's your base path? Just like put the whole folder there. It just put it in a folder is what it did. This is not an issue with Create React App. I think we are learning that, like, I think we're learning that GitHub Pages and Next is pretty difficult. Maybe I need this asset prefix thing. This is going to be my last try. Try it with asset prefix instead. Asset prefix. It's going to be the last try, and then I'm going to like declare this like a bad idea at that point and say Vercel is apparently the only way that you can use Next. Or not. I mean, there was like GitHub Actions and stuff. I just didn't want to get into all that, but at this point it seems easier, doesn't it? Okay, so we did build. Now we're going to export. This will be chore base path to asset prefix. Let me just inspect this HTML. Did you actually prefix it with your asset prefix, dude? Basic Next.js portfolio is in the href for the CSS, but it was in the past also, wasn't it? Okay, well, this looks kind of like good news, although I'm kind of thrilled like what the difference is. It's all inlined as it should be. It's like optimized for the end user. It's just like not really optimized for me. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Push. Close out this. Still pointing to main at root. Think we're good. Think we're good. Let's check main. GH Pages had recent pushes 22 minutes ago. Yeah, that's fine. And now that's not good. Huh. There's just straight up nothing there, huh? Oh gosh. I said that was my last try, but this is my true last try. is maybe I need both of them. Oh, didn't they say asset prefix needs 2 slashes? And maybe I should be doing the whole, okay, the whole domain. Oh well, either way, this is going to be my last shot, although arguably it's pretty close. But I'm super tired. So this will be chore alter base path. All right, yeah, I'm not sure like what the dealio is. Root. Oh, it's root. That's the dealio. It wants to push it out of root. Okay, and all right, git branch git checkout gh pages. So here's chore move out, move build to root. Just force pushed it. Total bad practice, but whatever. So I just switched it over, so I'm going to give it another 30 seconds. And we're wrapping up here. After this check, win or lose, we're wrapping up. But thanks for tuning in. And y'all should check out my TikTok. I'm trying to get over 1,000 followers, so then I can live stream to TikTok. And I'm dropping bits of goodies there like all the time. So all right, cool. That should have been enough time. Our blue is now green. Nope, doesn't look good to me. GH pages root. Oh, there it is. Huh. Okay, well that resolves like getting it deployed, getting the index accessed. And here we can see it did attach this substring. So now I'm just sort of like, well, why is it not working? Basic next. So here's next. Next static CSS 120. Next static CSS 120. Yeah, this totally looks like it should be working. Not super sure, not super concerned with it. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Have a great, I don't know, for me it's a great evening. I don't know what time zone you're in, but have a great, like